Hey everyone, this is Salt and we're back with another Maplestory M guide video. Today I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys some tips and information on making sure that you're getting as much experience from Starforce farming as you possibly can. So let's go ahead and get to it. I'm going to go ahead and open up the Starforce menu here. Now I'm going to start off the video by telling you guys some tips and information to make sure that you get as much experience as you can from Starforce farming, and then later on in the second part of the video, I'll go ahead and tell you guys my opinion going through the list of Starforce fields, telling you which ones I think are really good and which ones I would probably try to avoid. But first of all, let's not jump too far ahead of yourselves. Some tips on making sure that you're getting as much experience as you can. Well, first of all, you absolutely want to make sure to join a group Starforce farming, but you don't just want to join any group. You want to make sure to take a little bit of time Starforce farming to actually scout out the group that you're going to go ahead and join. Now, if you go and open up the Starforce menu, you'll probably notice that, let me go ahead and switch channels here to something that is not going to be as crowded. So let's go ahead and switch over to channel 11. And if I open up the Starforce menu and I actually take a look, you'll probably notice that there aren't really any groups. Well, make sure you guys click the View All Channels button. This is going to go ahead and show you all the Starforce groups in every single channel and not just the channel that you're in. So let's go ahead and go to probably one of the most popular Starforce fields that's being farmed, Starforce 80. Now you'll notice that a lot of people are actually in channel 1 when it comes to Starforce farming. That's one thing that I want to talk about and mention is when you do join a Starforce group, make sure to go ahead and join and scout out and see if there's a lot of other people that aren't in your group going around and killing stuff in the area that you're in. This is going to take away from the amount of kills per hour that you're going to be getting in your group, which is really, really important, and I'll definitely talk about that a bit more in this video, is that term of kills per hour. Because when it comes to Starforce farming, it's not really just about what you're doing, it really has to do with your group, because a lot of the experience that you end up getting in Starforce farming isn't just going to come from your kills, it's actually going to end up coming from your group's kills. Now there's a really easy way that you can actually tell, and I'll go ahead and show you guys by joining a Starforce group here. So if I actually join this guy's group, you'll see that there will be two different types of experience that are actually going off. There's the EXP, which is going to be party experience. You can see that text, it's going to be in blue. And then there's the green experience, which is just regular experience. The regular experience is going to be from my kills, but the blue party experience is going to be experience that I'm getting from people in my group's kills. So when you join a Starforce group, there's a few things that you want to do. First of all, as I mentioned, is you want to make sure that the area that you're in doesn't have a ton of other people that are all competing for the same monsters, because this is just going to end up taking away from the amount of kills that your group is getting. Even if it ends up taking away 10-20% of the kills, that's still quite a bit less experience per hour that you're going to be getting. Now you can see that a lot of the times in Channel 1, there's quite a few other people. This seems to be okay right now. This is a really good Starforce map as well, but depending on the map that you're doing, absolutely make sure that you guys have a good spot where you're not really competing with a lot of people, and also really importantly, make sure to scout out your own group as well. Now I talked about other groups, but your own group is really important because those are going to be the ones that are actually helping you get a whole bunch of experience. So make sure that when you do join a Starforce group, scout out your own group and see a couple of things that you want to point out. Obviously, make sure that you have a full or as close to a full group as you can. I would try to avoid joining groups that only have 1 or 2 people. They can end up filling up pretty quickly, but if you can help it, try to join groups that already have 4 or 5 people so that you end up joining a full group, because you don't end up getting any less experience if there's more people in the group. If you do, it's such a little amount that you really just want as many people helping you get as much experience as you possibly can. Very importantly as well is make sure that there's no leechers in your group or people who are AFKing. Sometimes this can be a little bit hard to tell, but if you guys are going to be Starforce grinding for a while, it's definitely worth a minute or two to actually go ahead and look at your own group members, see what they're doing, if they're auto-battling, if they're just sitting and not doing anything and just leeching experience. Another thing that you can tell is sometimes you'll end up seeing something that says resting. That means that that person is AFK. A lot of groups will actually kick people who are resting, but some of them won't. So you can actually end up joining a Starforce group where somebody will just be there completely AFK, leeching experience, not moving, not doing anything, and it'll say that they've been resting for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. That person is just taking up a spot in the group, not doing anything, just leeching experience. So you want to make sure not to actually join groups with people like that. So scouting out a group is incredibly important when it comes to Starforce farming. Now something else really important is not just your group, but also yourself. Now, when I say yourself, it's important to actually not farm a Starforce area where where you feel like it's going to be too difficult. Even though it can be really tempting to go ahead and jump right into Starforce 80, if you're not geared for it, you're just going to be dying a lot, or it's going to be too difficult, or even more importantly, if you're not getting kills quick enough, it's probably better to just go ahead and jump down to a lower Starforce. There's plenty of Starforce fields below Starforce 80 that are going to be tons of experience, and in a couple minutes I'll go ahead and talk about my list of Starforce fields that I like and Starforce fields that I don't like. So go ahead and step into a Starforce field, and a couple of ways that you can tell is, see if you're dying, go ahead and make sure that you set your pet's potions. Try to kind of customize this however you want, and if you feel that you're struggling or you're not getting kills quick enough or you're not really contributing to your group enough, keep that in mind as well, is that you are taking up a spot in your group. So if you don't feel like you're really contributing that much and that you're struggling or dying and just not getting that many kills, it's probably best to just go ahead and step down to a lower difficulty level. Now, something else that I want to mention, another little, I guess this is just kind of a bonus way to get some extra experience, is if you do decide to auto battle in a Starforce group. I mentioned this in a video the other day, but if you do auto battle, there's a little trick that you can do where when you turn on auto battle, what you can do is you can actually close the game or zoom out of the game, and you'll end up getting rested experience while your auto battle is going. So right here, this rested rewards, I could actually go ahead and turn on auto battle, and I could close the game, and I would still actually be earning rested reward points. So you can end up using that for more experience, of course, which is awesome. A nice little hidden feature of auto battle that a lot of people don't really know. Now, sometimes it bugs out a little bit. You don't always get rested points, but it works most of the time. You'll notice that if you do turn on auto battle, you can even go ahead and try it yourself. Turn on auto battle for half an hour or so, close the game down, use your rested reward points, and then come back in, and you'll notice that you've actually gotten some rested reward points. All right, let's go ahead and exit out of here. Let's go ahead and let's actually just go ahead and teleport back to town because it's going to be a little bit too loud. All right, and now I want to go ahead and actually talk about the different Starforce fields, and let me go ahead and leave my group. Speaking of which, I don't want to take up a spot in my group for nothing. Let me talk about the different Starforce fields, my opinion on which ones are good, which ones are not so great, the popular ones, and just all that stuff. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Now keep in mind that just because you can do a high Starforce field doesn't mean that you should. A really good example of that is Starforce 110, which a lot of people are aiming for, but if you actually break down the math behind it, doing Starforce 80 is pretty much better than Starforce 10 unless you are extremely well geared and you have an extremely well geared group of people who are all contributing just as much as you. It's pretty much best to go ahead and stick with Starforce 80 for a very long time. Now let's not jump into Starforce 80, let's go ahead and talk about some of the earlier ones. I'm going to go ahead and start off with one of my favorite early Starforces, which is going to be Starforce 30. This is a fantastic Starforce because the monsters are very easy, they don't knock back, they don't do that much damage, and if you end up joining a group in Starforce 30, you'll notice that you can end up getting a lot of kills per hour. Now that's really important, and as I go and talk about higher Starforces, you'll notice that just because you can do a higher Starforce and you're going to get more experience doing a higher Starforce, that doesn't mean that it's going to be the most experience per hour, because there's a lot of Starforce maps that they don't have a very good layout, they don't really have that many monsters, there's just not really that efficient groups doing it. So Starforce 30 is actually going to be better than, for example, Starforce 40. I am not a fan of Starforce 40. I feel like there's just not enough monsters, the monster density is not that great, and even though the monsters will give more experience each, if you actually spend an hour farming in Starforce 40 versus an hour farming in Starforce 30 with the same level of gear, you'll notice that you'll actually probably be getting quite a bit more experience doing Starforce 30 just because of the way that the map is laid out. So Starforce 30 is a really good one. Another one that I like to do is Starforce 45. This is a pretty popular one. Lots of monsters, very good monster density, always quite a few groups doing Starforce 45. I guess one of the downsides to this is the monsters will start doing quite a bit more damage once you get to Starforce 45 and onwards, and also the monsters will knock back, so if you don't really have that much gear, you're probably going to find yourself dying quite a bit doing these higher Starforces, especially where the monsters knock back. Now another really good one of my favorite ones besides Starforce 80 is going to be Starforce 65. This is a fantastic Starforce for auto battling or AFKing or overnighting. If you're going to spend several hours AFK, really important is you don't want to do a Starforce where you have a risk of dying or just not really contributing that much, and mostly just dying. Obviously, if you're going to be AFK for 3, 4, 5 hours or more, if you die, well, that's going to be a bit of a problem. Starforce 65 is great. There's lots of monsters. They seem to be pretty easy. You get a ton of kills per hour. There's lots of groups doing it. Very, very good Starforce. And then, of course, you have probably what is going to be the most popular Starforce as of right now, which is going to be Starforce 80. This one is really popular because all the monsters are really close to each other. You get a lot of experience. There's lots of groups doing it. All the really strong players are going to be doing Starforce 80, so you can almost always find a really, really good group of people doing Starforce 80. One of the downsides is, even with gear like mine, where I have very, very good gear, all uniques, almost 18,000 HP if I end up fully healing, 17,800. Even if I end up going to Starforce 80 and I end up putting my potions to maximum on my pet, there's still actually a risk that I can end up dying there if I AFK for more than half an hour to an hour at a time. So while Starforce 80 is probably going to be the best Starforce for just experience per hour, I probably wouldn't AFK there overnight unless you have extremely good gear or you've already tested out that you can go a couple hours without dying there. So that's my opinion. Starforce 110 is probably the next one that people are doing, but it's just, there's not that many people who have really gotten to the point where they're farming Starforce 110 yet, so I wouldn't really worry about it. I'm not even at that point. Starforce 80 is going to be the one that you're going to stick with for a very long time. But most importantly, I want to go ahead and leave this off with one little thing is, don't jump too far ahead of yourself. Seriously, don't farm a Starforce that's too difficult. The most important thing when it comes to Starforce farming is not making sure that you can kill the hardest monsters, it's making sure that you're getting the most experience per hour. So you kind of have to take all the things that I've said in this video and kind of mix them all up and figure out what is going to be the best Starforce map for you, making sure that you're not dying, making sure you have a good group, making sure your group is contributing, making sure that you're contributing to your group, making sure that there's not other people that are taking away from the kills, and all that stuff combined is going to make sure that you can find a Starforce that is going to be best for you, which isn't necessarily going to be the most difficult one that you can do. So anyway, I've thrown a lot of information about Starforce in this video. This has probably been one of my most informative videos with just a whole bunch of stuff in it. So I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed this guide video for Maplestory M. And if you guys did enjoy this video, feel free to leave a quick like on it. It helps more than you can imagine. It really does help spread the word. And if you guys are new to the channel, consider subscribing for future videos, guides, and tutorials for Maplestory M and possibly other games like Maplestory 2, which is actually coming out very, very soon. With that being said, it's almost the end of September, so just 2 days left on the September giveaway. Link in the description. If you guys have not entered yet, this is your last chance. All you have to do is be a subscriber to the channel, leave a quick like, and that is it. That'll give you 3 tickets in order to enter that giveaway, and you are done. So thanks again, guys. Have a great day, and until next time, this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.